Hello everyone, and welcome back to another Heartwell Dev stream, the live stream series where I continue to develop this adorable Souls-like action RPG with platform mechanics and a branching narrative. Now, if you find these dev streams interesting or helpful, be sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel and boop that bell button to stay notified. Now, when I last left off, I've been working on more animations for some of the bosses that'll be in the demo, so fortunately I can't really show that for spoiler reasons, but that's what I've primarily been working on off-stream. As for on-stream, we're going to be picking up right where we left off at the end of last stream. So, we'll be going into the tile map editor to continue kind of filling in the blanks, so to speak, with these different runs to make it more colorful. To really start to bring this dungeon to life a bit more. And as well as continue adding to the tile sets, since we'll naturally have to do that as we work on it. So yeah, that's the current plan for tonight's stream. I think without further ado, I think I'll close on out of the game engine real quick and we'll get right into it. Alright, so I think the last spot I left off was in this room right here, since that is... I think this is supposed to be his kitchen, so we're definitely going to need some kitchen-y things to fit in with this area. We also will need to make some degree of logical sense, so... we will figure that out and go from there. Sorry. Hey, JD Eagle, thanks so much for dropping by. Yep, I'm here, JD Eagle. I'm here. I was just loading something up. But welcome. I did notice your devlog, JD Eagle. So how's that going? I've heard you're getting pretty close to finishing Punchball. For what I'm doing tonight, I'm going to continue where we picked up last stream. So right now I need some kitchen stuff. So I think the obvious first thing is going to be a stove of some kind, so let's start there. Hello, that boss. Thanks for dropping by. How have you been? We're gonna make the stove. I think this might actually be a decent template to use. Cool. Oh, we started the beta signs for it, and I'm working on World 5. Nice, Jake Eagle. Cool. Oh, glad to hear you're making good progress, dude. I know you've been working on it for a while now. And I wish you the best of luck with the beta phase, as well as the eventual launch of it.
Alright. I'll tell you the truth.
Okay, so for like a stove, I think what we can do is one little trick I like to use sometimes when I need to do things quickly is to use the power of the adjust color tool in private scale. So this is one way to adjust it if I want to make it like yellow or orange, but in this case I want it to be more of a darker color, so let's start with that grayscaling it. Ah, and there we go, chat. See, just like that, click of a button. We've got
Remember all the happy times we had.
ooh, cool. Yeah, sound music is something I definitely not, music especially is something I'll have to work on for Hartwell, since I have a few songs written, but I definitely feel like I could polish them up a bit now that I've learned a few more things. I also feel like
Very much alike.
that'll be a decent template there for a stove. I want to adjust it a smidge, because it doesn't quite feel like stove yet.
Remember all the happy times we had.
But yeah, I'll be certainly interested to hear how that goes.
Very much alike.
Actually, when I think of a stove, I think this handle is kind of more so towards the down a smidge, and it goes into the side. So,
All right. I'll tell you the truth.
let's just put that over there. Go from there. Oh, hello, Copper Nicholson. Thanks for dropping by. How you been? Oh, you did light day at the gym? That's awesome, Copper Nicholson. How'd it go? Okay, that's decent. Let's like the idea. I just want to do a bit more visible. Ah, there we go. Now we got our handle. Well, actually, maybe we could do something just a smidge more stylish. So instead of having that be a gray, that could be something darker. So if that's there, let's go for something like this. Actually, darker. There we go. Well, maybe darker still. Okay, I like that. And then we just do a little Control-C-V action. That's not what I wanted. Oh, cool, Copper Nicholson. Just finished your first week of work for the new year. Awesome. This isn't Dark Souls, Copper Nicholson. It's a dev stream. Maybe the dark is... I have the idea of like a cast iron sort of, yeah, that doesn't really fit. I mean, that kind of fits. Probably thinking about this too much, but that's okay. It's... Oh, actually, that's not bad. Make a... something like that. That can work. Actually, that kind of works. Okay, that's perfectly fine, Copper Nicholson. You do what works best for you. I think that bots and Jake Eagle Deagle here tonight, Copper Nicholson. That's there. That's for a stove top. I mean, we could have a flat top stove, but me thinks we'll need to do a little bit more variety than just that. So let's add ourselves some kind of burner. And definitely, maybe this is more of an old... Let's think about this. More mechanical in nature. Being used. Well, if it helps in some capacity, Copper Nicholson, that's good. Mm-hmm. Okay, we could do like a S2 burner kind of thing here, since it's this is a stove meant to be used to help a large number of people. I think we need to do like a we'll have a base layer and then something to make them look a smidge more interesting. Actually, stoves are more, the burners are a bit darker colored. And just a bit like that. Then as for details, we could have some kind of rating. That's not... That doesn't quite fit in my mind. We'll have to... We could just make a bunch of circles. That usually looks decent. Hey, Drakor, thanks for dropping by, man. How you doing? Okay, better. So actually, that's kind of neat. Neat little design. And we just do something like this to make it seem a bit more detailed. Okay, good. Helping your mom on our procedure today. Okay, hope they're doing well. Rekor, hope they're doing... Alright, sounds good, Rekor. Glad to see you'll be working on your game a bit. That's good. Good. Alright, I think that's a decent burner design. Might also look better if it was not as wide. Yep. So let's remedy this. By bringing layer 1 a bit closer together. Okay. That works, I think. Ooh, that's awful. I'm sorry to hear that, Grekor. I hope they're doing all right. I know. Part of me kind of likes how the wire design sort of pops out at you a bit. But at the same time, I think it looks more normal if it's... Oh, whoa. think it looks more normal if we bring everything closer together. Maybe if we did a little something like that. Okay, that looks a bit industrial, but I like it. I like it. All right. All right, chat. Just feedback. Any thoughts on, like, I guess these would be parts of a stove. Well, it looks like further away. One thing I realize is that one thing that makes me very cutscenes. Cutscenes themselves make the game appear much larger than it is. I guess my question would be how so, Drekor? Like, how might a cutscene make it seem, I guess, more vast than it actually is, if that's the concern? Are you saying just like the story seems like it's vast and I guess much grander than what you're going for? Is that it? Because I know for me, the thing about cutscenes is it's just a tedious process compared to programming actual, we'll say, more involved gameplay. Okay, it's like the cutscenes imply a much larger world than the one the player will actually get to explore. It seems overwhelming. I'm trying to figure out a way to... okay. Well, it's not necessarily lazy, Drekor. You're trying to figure out what meets the need. So, I'll actually use an example from Hartwell while trying to remain as spoiler-free as possible. So, if you played old RPGs, you know that there are those kinds of openings where they use still images, and I think Undertale is a more recent example of a game that made use of that, and I guess Deltarune did too, but that's kind of beside the point. So, but the idea of those still images is the intent is to make it feel almost like a storybook, or like historical runes for an older tale, and that's why that's done, because it's... On the one hand, you can get a fair amount of detail in that smaller space to help convey an image like a storybook or a fairy tale book. But on the other hand, you also don't, like you mentioned, because it's a still image, you don't have to worry about animations or placements or things like that necessarily. Now, to that end, when I was working on, I'd say, Hartwell's opening cutscene, so, like, one of those, like, true openings before you get to the main menu, I actually ran into an issue where I wanted to present something in an image that I didn't feel competent enough to draw with my skills as an artist. And to that end, I had to consider, okay, do I want to spend many, many weeks trying to make a single still image that might not turn out super well? Or do perhaps I consider what are some other things I could present that gets the same idea across that I wanted to, but perhaps might be something more in the realm of what I could draw. And what I decided to do was rethink what I'd be presenting there, and that ended up being an important solution. How so? Well, rather than draw, we'll say, some unique entities that would have each had to have their own design and move in be presented in a variety of different ways, I decided to go with a more symbolic approach. And so doing, it still conveyed the same message, but it was drawn. I was able to, instead of drawing like these very unique and more complex entities in a still image, I instead was able to draw some simpler objects that conveyed the same thing, just from a more symbolic approach. So but the difference there is, rather than being stuck and be like, oh, I just can't make this because I don't have, I can't, my art stats are too weak. It's like, okay, no, I can still convey this. I just need to rethink how I want to convey that. So where does this line up with your game, Gretcor? My thing is, when you're trying to, don't discount the idea of still images for cutscenes. Instead, try to make sure that you're conveying the information you want to convey. That should be your top priority with any cutscene, is you're conveying that information in some kind of meaningful way. Now, how you do that is up to you. It doesn't have to be like an in-game rendered thing. It could be, like you said, still images, or there's plenty of other ways to do it. I mean, heck, even Dark Souls uses like purely like animated videos or movies like in their openings that have no bearing whatsoever on what the gameplay itself looks like. Okay, so I think that'll do for stuff. I know I've been spending quite a bit looking on this, but it does give me a baseline of stuff to work on, because now this can be swapped out for various things. For example, we have a double-decker kind of situation here, since there are stoves that are like that. One, two, three, four, five, six. We got a mini grate if we can fit it in here. Alright, I think that works. It adds a nice little bit of detail to these. Is that still some kind of thing. you have a new meme stopper, Nicholson? The horror. And what meme shall you be producing for us tonight, Mr. Nicholson? That's the kitchen. We can stack these. We'll also need a higher floor version of this. Oh. Read a messages Toa. 1 second. Hi, I'm Toa Herschel from Cold Steel, and I need your help to defeat Crow and the Imperial Liberation in front. Class 7 is selling a non-fungible tokens to raise a Mira to buy Thor Military Academy, a new equipment, and clean clothes. We've been wearing the same uniforms for a full year, and it's time to change. Now you can own your own unique exclusive digital franchise as it supports the heroes that'll save Arabonia. I don't know about you, but I want to support Green with every penny in my wallet. Don't delay, buy today. That does not sound like something Toa would say. Dr. Nicholson. Also, Toa supports laundry percent. She wouldn't get rid of it. Like, if anything, that sounds like something Sarah... Honestly, that sounds more like something Sarah or Milliam would say. Like, honestly, I can clearly see Sarah saying, like, I don't know about you, but I want to support Reed with every penny in my wallet. Don't delay, buy today. Like, that's more like... Like, come on, you know Sarah would. Sarah absolutely would. Fair enough, Record, fair enough. Might wanna increase that. Okay, now there. Now. I also think we could use some kind of like... I mean, we have the pantry, but we also need some place for like the cold stuff. In other words, we need some kind of, if not refrigeration, at least some kind of storage locker. So, let's think about this. Use you as a base. Let's see. I'm saying Sarah would be the type of person to consider that kind of stuff. So would Crow, if we're being honest. Let's think about it. Because, I mean, Crow's the guy who does things. No, Copper Nicholson, no. No. Milliam is the type, yeah. Milliam would buy them all is the issue. She somehow, I don't know how, I don't know why, but Milliam would. I'm sure there's some kind of... I feel like I had some kind of bolt mechanism around here somewhere. Aha! That's where you were hiding. have to do is put there. Okay. Why do you ask, Copper Nicholson? Well, you have to remember, Toa supports Reen, and Reen, of course, is all in on the launching percent run, so kind of a no-brainer if you think about it. That's not what I wanted to grab. Okay, so the next Punchball world is a zero-G world with game objects that slay. Ooh, that sounds cool. I like it. Glad to see you're getting more creative with the different ball designs. It's JT Legal, because I remember that was something we talked about when you were early in the design process, was trying to figure out how to make things more interesting. So I'm glad to see you've embraced that. That's really cool. Oh, that's cool, Copper Nicholson. So yeah, Copper Nicholson, we could listen in for a bit and hear you continue your Dark Souls journey. So is it fair to say that it helped a lot? I imagine, JT Eagle. Now that you know you're really messing with your gameplay mechanics and trying to see different ways you can do stuff. I find that to be pretty rewarding personally. I mean, that's how. I wonder. It would look better if we did something like an iron bar. Oh, better yet. Alright, that'll do. Reese. Alright, sounds good, Copper Nicholson. What time? Yeah, that's the thing. I don't understand, like, the Dark Souls combat system can seem overwhelming at first, but once you, like Greg was saying, once it clicks with you, it's like one of those things that you're like, why don't more games do this? Like, that's how I felt with it. Just differentiate it just a smidge. Yeah, around then should make sense, Copper Nicholson. I'm not sure, Copper Breckport. You have to remember that Elden Ring comes out, I think, next month, unless it's been delayed again, so it is entirely possible that they're just trying to prepare for Elden Ring. there was also the Return to Lordran event in January, so there might be a similar thing for Dranglike. Yep, correct, War. So that means that we're getting into crunch time for the Dark Souls challenge run, because you know, once Elden Ring comes out, that'll be the priority. So it really depends on how far we're able to get, whether I do any of the DLC in Dark Souls 1 or not. Like I said, I don't know if there's like a Return to Dranglike event or not, but that'd be my guess. Yeah, because I mean, like, 4 Chains is just something that'll take practice. As for Great Lord Nito, that could take a little bit because we have some dungeons to explore before we can actually reach him. So my thought would be prioritize those first, and if we end up getting to basically the killing of the first flame and still have like a couple weeks left, and that's why I might consider, okay, I'll still explore the DLC a little bit. But yeah, but I think let's at least see how this looks and then add some more things as we go. So we will save a copy. And that should auto update it. Now if we go into the map editor, we'll have our brand new little designs here. So let's think here. So stove, I think that goes without saying, should be and now I'm realizing something I didn't consider. We need that to be a little bit longer. It's an easy fix though. For the multi-stove idea. I put that right there. I see. Oh. Yo, you teach your brother how to code? That's awesome, Jake Eagle to Eagle. Awesome, best of luck with that. Sonic game? Well, you have to understand, Copper Nicholson, there hasn't been a Sonic game that's really, I'd say, that's really grabbed me in recent years. Now, I know Sonic Mania came out, but it's like, that game's already been had plenty of challenge runs done of it anyway. And I liked action RPGs, and Elden Ring's right around the corner. And I know there's some cautious optimism surrounding Sonic Rangers, but I'm going to wait, and I'm adopting a more wait and see approach, just because I remember the sadness that was Sonic Forces when that came out, and I beat that game in like 2 hours. Like, that was so insanely underwhelming, shall we say. But the thing is like, I grew up on Sonic games and like Sega games. I mean, Sonic Forces is one of my favorite games of all time, and I love Sonic 3 and Knuckles. I played Sonic Heroes and Sonic Adventure and Sonic Adventure 2 and so on and so forth. I played Sonic Generations. But where was I going with this? But if Sonic, I want Sonic Rangers to do well, but I'm recognizing that, you know, there's always the possibility that it just completely flops or is painfully mediocre. And I hope it does well, I really do, because if we have like a mainline Sonic title that's staying like super high review scores and is really well beloved, that'd be awesome. I'd love to see that. But that I'm again, Ah, fair enough, J. Beetle Beetle. I've watched a bit of Sonic, and I describe it as a fanfiction in a Sonic the Hedgehog written by Christopher Thorndike. Oh, well, that's one thing. That's a constant in the Sonic series, Copper Nicholson. There's always going to be fan art in the Sonic series. That's one of its strong points. I'm also realizing it might be better just to use this on a details layer, so I'm actually going to delete this. We do have the layer already. Instead, we can just throw that on as details. Redact that? What do you mean redact that? That JD Doledo. I'm not saying it's not like. I'd say I somewhat enjoyed the bits and pieces of Sonic that I have watched. I just describe it as that because it's... I feel like some stuff is lost in Sonic Deaths, at least with the Sonic Adventure her 1 arc. That's something I noticed. But on the other hand, I also recognize that there's some stuff later in Sonic Deaths that's more interesting, and that's cool. But I'm not trying to degrade Sonic Deaths in any way, JD Gold Eagle. I'm just saying that's just kind of how I picture it. And Aging Stars not gonna see before we made it. That's cool, JD Evil the Evil, and that's perfectly fine. You don't have to consider that a confession. Like, you're just using ideas you had before as a writer. Doesn't matter where they came from. And repurposing them for something else. I do that all the time. And I'm sure other authors do too. It's a common practice when you start writing a lot and doing a lot of world building and character writing. And it might not even necessarily be that, like, you're just saying, okay, I just Control-C and Control-V like exactly what I had before. You might take bits and pieces from things you had before and mix them and match them into new ways. Kind of like a sort of literary remixing. Hey, there we go. Stovetop. Huzzah. Oh, cool. Habit the Hedgehog and Jade the Cat. Cool. Alright, that's cool. Well, Copper Nicholson, I think that's more of a personal problem than it is, or like a personal situation that is, that stuff doesn't work. Because it absolutely does work if you got the right mindset and you're willing to repurpose your work towards something that you also find meaningful. But if you're feeling pain towards something, that's probably more something you've got to work out on your own, dude. It doesn't mean the process doesn't work, it just means that you as a person might not be ready. Well, you as a person might be struggling with things or memories that brings up. And that happens. People can associate trauma and negative emotions and pain with all sorts of things based off of stuff that's happened in their past. There's no shame in that. Now, that being said, you shouldn't let that deter you from trying to embrace the creative process if it's something you enjoy. After all, an actor or actress who never gets over their fear of stage fright is never going to perform in front of a crowd. Well, starting over can be good too, Copper Nicholson, but I'm saying you shouldn't be afraid to repurpose your own work. It's just the stuff that you've written down so far seems to me to be saying you're afraid of it because of those memories, or that you haven't truly grappled with those memories to the point where you can comfortably work with that stuff, like you used to. What do I want to do up here, I wonder? Yeah. But yeah, that does sound pretty cool, JD the Legal. How does that look? Okay. That work, I wonder. All right. No, not that I can think of, Copper Nicholson. Yep, I will say the one good thing one of the few things that was really interesting at Sonic Forces was its character creator. It just was like with many things in Sonic Forces, it was wasted potential. All right. No, not at all, Copper Nicholson. I remember as a kid identifying more with the character Knuckles the Echidna, so like just enjoying that character in particular. And then as I grew older, I grew to appreciate Tails as well. And also Dr. Robotnik and the egg robo that Knuckles fought in Sonic 3 and Knuckles. I remember enjoying those characters a lot as well. Honestly, Copper Nicholson, I spent more time imagining all sorts of unique bosses for Dr. Robotnik that could be designs rather than thinking of actual OCs. Let's make it a grayscale version of you. Nah, Copper Nicholson, nah. That seems like a you idea, Copper Nicholson, not a me idea. That down there. For those who are wondering what exactly it is I'm doing here, I'm trying to make some kind of, I guess, sink or basin. Getting this to look right, it's kind of tricky though. Oh, okay, there we go, that's more like it. There's kind of more of a curve to it. Okay, so let me think back to my childhood. So some kind of bosses I thought of when I was younger. So okay, well, first start with a simple one. So I always thought it'd be cool if Knuckles could go to the Death Age zone, because for those who don't know, in Sonic 3 and Knuckles, Sonic and Tails, in their various campaigns, can go through Sky Sanctuary Zone and reach the Death Age Zone to fight Robotnik proper, but Knuckles never could. So one thing I would have liked was just to have Knuckles be able to do that, and conversely, to have Sonic and Tails have the opportunity to face, we'll say, Super Mecha Sonic if they so chose. So that's more of a simple idea, but in terms of like getting towards more complex boss ideas, I always thought I'm trying to think back to it has been a long time. I always thought the Knuckles boss fight was a bit too easy. So maybe making that more challenging with like giving him some fire attacks or different attack patterns would have been cool. Oh, actually, one thing I wanted to do was completely redo the boss battle in the Lava Reef Zone. So the Lava Reef Zone Act 2, I should say, since the opening to that boss battle I think is really great, where you're kind of yeeted into a pit of fire and Eggman shoots missiles at you from a distance. Like, I think that chase sequence is so cool. And then you get to the underwhelming boss fight against Eggman in the pit of lava, where you just dodge like spike projectiles a bunch of times as he destroys himself. I would have loved if instead of that we had some kind of, like, maybe have the chase sequence be the entire boss fight and turn that into a boss. So have Eggman like constantly throwing spike balls down at you as we're continuously going to the right over these various lava canyons and valleys. He's having to try and maybe knock the spike balls into Eggman, and when the rare opportunity presented itself, then maybe having missiles fly at you from the side. That would have been so much more fun in my view, and much more fitting for a boss that late in the game. I also thought it would have been cool to take the I think the Act 1 boss of, well, not that. The Act 2 boss of Marble Zone is also really cool with its premise, and I wish it was longer. Part of me wishes it was longer and more complex. So what I imagine just to give you guys a bit of perspective, in Marble Garden Zone Act 2, Eggman actually, basically throughout the zone, Eggman is constantly chasing you with a more heavily armored version of his vehicle with a drill attached to it, and Eggman actually causes the stage to move around a bit for like sort of like death barrier wall sorts of things throughout the stage. But at the very end of the stage, Eggman actually Eggman lowers his drill, hits the stage, and actually completely destroys it. So like the entire stage falls out from under you, and then Tails has to carry Sonic into the air for an air battle against Eggman, and it's so cool. I just wish that fight was longer and more challenging because it's such a fun fight, and like the opening to it's just so satisfying. So what I would do is similar to what I was describing with previously, would have been to actually combine something that I saw from Eggman's fight with, the Ed Robo's fight with Knuckles, since Knuckles can't fly, he can only glide, where the Ed Robo actually launches out like these different long sections of spikes that Eggman would, that the Ed Robo falls. I think it would have been cool if, in addition to the drill, if there would be like a moment where Eggman would actually like unleash like a torrent of chains or those spike things in a line to try and like almost like a little maze that you'd have to go through before Eggman would be vulnerable for a hit. Similarly, I think it would have been cool if Eggman had the option to like fire his drill like he could with that one boss in Sonic 2, the very first boss, so that so that way it would kind of make you stay on your toes a bit more when Eggman's flying straight towards you. You can't like be in his line of fire, or else you could very much be in trouble. So that was the kind of stuff that my mind thought of when I was younger, not making OC, so to speak, insofar as making fun boss battles. I have not read the comic books Topper Nicholson. Well, a free roaming Sonic idea isn't a new idea. In fact, I love the concept of a more open world-ish kind of Sonic game. That's basically what Sonic Adventure 1 was. But it's just, I don't think it's ever really been executed as well as it could be. Like, Sonic Adventure 1's the closest we ever got to a really well executed open world Sonic game. But since then, other Sonic games that have attempted to do open world stuff, most recently I think was Sonic Boom Rise of Lyric. Ironically, it just hasn't quite been up to snuff. Well, that's the thing, Copper. So if you force the player to constantly move, that would actually kind of undermine some of the purposes of open world games. And developers have freely admitted that Sonic speed is one of the challenges of creating an open world game, is that his speed will allow them to traverse great distances so rapidly. So how do you make the in-between stuff interesting? To that I say, you basically interconnect a bunch of different levels into one larger level and make sure you have stuff to do. So that way, even if the world is open, it'll still feel complex, like you won't want to run from one side to the other because there's plenty of stuff to do in the meantime. Rise of Lyric was, again, another, I'd say, wasted potential in a Sonic game. Well, the irony is, Copper Nicholson, the TV show is supposed to be based off the games, but unfortunately the TV show overshadowed the games because the games were, again, lackluster, for lack of a better term. A common theme of the Sonic games in 2010, from like 2010 to recently, is that they've tended to be wasted potential. Not all the time. I mean, we got Sonic Mania, but that's, in general, that's been the theme, which is unfortunate. Because, I mean, as a longtime Sonic fan, I want to see the games do well. I want to have games that I can be genuinely excited to play. Those just have not been happening.
Very much alike. All right. I'll tell you the truth.
I'm not sure, Copper Nicholson. That'll work. Context there. Okay. Essentially, the handles. Alright, chat, we officially have sync. I do think we'll need to add some kind of shadow here because it is not a sync unto itself, it's actually Needs to be a fixture, so copy pasta. That sounds unique. I'll say that, Copper and Nicholson. Then what we can do draw something like this. Give us an alpha channel. Make the opacity something like bada bang, bada boom, easy shadows. Right here. Then we can just adjust that until it's at a distance that we like. Okay, I think we go even just one bit further. Okay, there we go. Get a copy as a PNG. Bada bang, bada boom. There we go. Well, Copper Nicholson, it's all about, I guess, differences of interests. Me personally, I don't find Skyrim to be that entertaining for the long game because of the reasons I outlined it before. Its combat is rather bland and has a very low skill ceiling, meaning that by the end game it's extremely repetitive and doesn't have much depth. Now, I will say that Skyrim, as like a game with a lot of lore and a lot of effort put into crafting its environments and its areas to make it feel lived in, I think it does a great job with that. And I like that there's a lot of fun role-playing potential in the game. But in terms of like a game that I play for its RPG mechanics and such, it's not, it leaves something to be desired because I want more of a challenge or something that feels like I can master. In Skyrim, I don't feel like I really master anything. I just get more stats and eventually get to a point where I can cruise through almost anything. Right, but that's, I mean, again, modding communities are fun and all, Copper Nicholson, but that's just one part of a video game. I think Skyrim can stand on its own merits for like I was saying before, its lore, its role-playing potential, its vast and intricate, its vast world with lots of different locations and points of interest. But like I said, combat definitely was desired. Let's see here. I think something that would help is if I just get rid of those lines so it just looks like it's one continuous part. That'd be useful. Alright. Hello, Spectre. Thanks for dropping by. How's it going? Welcome. Right. That should fit. Yeah, I think that's better. A part of me wants that shadow to actually go a bit further, but I think yeah, that's the other thing, Sputdip. It goes back to the whole idea of the repetitive nature, and that's admittedly it's not a problem that Skyrim alone has. Lots of open world games have the issue of they say, oh well, we have this vast open map, look how massive it is. I'm like, great, what's there to do on the map? That, because to me it's like the amount of content that there is to do in that map that's non-repetitive and that feels interesting and worthwhile to pursue. To me, that's far more important than just the rough size of the map. I think yeah, and that's another good thing, Spot Jeff. It's that, you know, if you have a game that offers more just right out of the box, even has fewer mods, that's, you know, you're getting more value there, potentially. Yeah, that's the thing. I agree with Sputdip here, Copper Nicholson. Skyrim has a wide variety of locations, but a lot of it becomes samey very quick because it ties back into its core gameplay loop, which involves its lackluster combat. And it also involves, like, what reasons do you have to explore all these different caves if most of them have similar items and similar enemy types that aren't, again, that don't really differentiate themselves too much. Like, you can only explore so many bandit caves and get so many leather straps and basic iron gear before everything starts to feel similar. Now, if each of those bandit casts have unique characters, or they each have their own things and like truly unique items and stuff like that, then okay, that'd be much more interesting. But that's not the case with Skyrim. Yes, Copper Nicholson, but that is an exception to an otherwise. That's an exception to the rule, Copper Nicholson. There aren't games with mediocre elements. You can still find like some good part bits in them, but it doesn't but it doesn't elevate the rest of the game. You want to know it's not, Copper Nicholson, not in the slightest. In Dark Souls, like the art style may feel similar to Dark and Drab, but every dungeon is different. Like, I can tell you at face value, going to the Undead Bird versus going to Blighttown first versus going into the graveyard first, all of those feel very different, but they're all considered, we'll say, starting game areas. Yeah, that's another good point, Sputdip. It's quantity over quality. I'd much rather have I will say, an open world game with a smaller map where every single square inch of that map is used very well with lots of good stuff to do, as opposed to having a massive map with just points of interest and barely anything in between, like you see in Red Dead Redemption. Now, what was I doing? Right, I was adjusting the shadow. Yeah. Now, and that's, you know, some area for improvements that's could be considered by the developers of Skyrim. So if they're making Elder Scrolls 6, I really hope that they're considering revamping their combat system, because if they don't, then however well designed their world is, I feel like it'll be missing something pretty important in a game where there's likely to be quite a bit of fighting. When they decide to go with bigger maps that are empty and takes 10 minutes to go anywhere, I can agree with you to an extent, Spudkip. I think Assassin's Creed 3 is certainly very guilty of that. But with Assassin's Creed 4, I will strongly disagree. I actually think Assassin's Creed 4 was did a very good job balancing the size of the map versus places versus stuff to do. Especially with the fact that wherever you were sailing in the Caribbean, you could always let go of your wheel to go explore uncharted islands, which was really cool. As that usually had like hidden treasure and stuff like that. And also the fact that there were just there were just so many things. Oh, you're talking more about Odyssey. Yeah, Odyssey's a bit bloated. I enjoyed playing Odyssey, but I do recognize that there is a lot. It suffers from those same kind of tropes where there's a lot of repetitiveness to the, we'll say, the activities you do in the massive map, as well as plenty of empty dead spaces. Though I think the worst example of that would actually be in the Assassin's Creed franchise would definitely be Origins, because Origins had like entire swaths of the Sahara Desert where there's not even any points of interest in like an entire region. Sometimes not even like a viewpoint to synchronize, and it's just like, why is this here? Like that's how I felt. Yeah, he said Origins. Well, the thing about Origins is Origins did a great job revamping Assassin's Creed combat in a meaningful way, but the map design was... I mean, I will give them credit. They tried to make use of what they had. They were working in ancient Egypt, and they tried to make different areas feel, well, different in a desert ancient era. So, okay, that's not an easy thing to do. But even so, they could have removed certain sections from the Sahara Desert, and I don't feel like anything would have been missed. Because again, it's just all empty spaces that might look good just to look at, but that's it. I also think I should get rid of that line there so it feels less abrupt. There. Go. So. Almost. I see there's a mistake in the details there. Fair enough. So, but yeah, Breath of the Wild, did a lot of things right with its open world design, with having plenty of stuff to do, and fitting with it, and having everything always feel like you were doing something worthwhile to build up for the final fight against Ganon. also say I appreciate the fact that Breath of the Wild lets you run straight to the final boss after being the tutorial. Like, I think that's so cool. I love that. Just giving you the option to making a lot of the, we'll say, the main story content optional. Very neat. Yeah. Yep, and that's the thing. It's like there feels like there's plenty of meaningful stuff to do, and it's not like busy work. And that can be a hard thing to balance in an open world game. Is trying to make sure that, well, first there's plenty of stuff to do in the space you have, and second of all, that stuff doesn't feel meaningless or repetitive or unnecessary. Like, you can only discover collectibles for the umpteenth time before it gets boring, unless that collectible is helping you towards something. Yep. Well, we'll see how it goes, Rektor. Again, I'm cautiously optimistic about From Software with Elden Ring. I just want to see how it turns out. Like, how, you know, are they able to successfully transition to an open world formula with their Souls with their Souls games? And if they are, what does that look like? Yep, pretty much like the episode. I have heard the argument that some people wish that they switched the difficulty of the final boss so that you have to face all the Calamity Beasts at once at the very end if you go through the main story, because you're all geared up for it, whereas if you try to get there quick, you only have to fight Calamity again, and itself it feels very underwhelming. Like, I feel like I can kind of see that argument. Me personally, I'm more for all for the difficulty. So I appreciate it, like, if you beat the main story. I think it should just be standard to fight all the Calamity bosses before. I think the idea is that having to fight the bosses before Ganon is supposed to be your deterrent from going there straight away. I get that. But also, at the same time, also it'd be cool to actually take those all on when you are geared up from like a massive journey. Oh, is that what it does, Flip-Tip? It massively increases inventory? I did not know that. That's pretty cool. Okay. Like we could use like a door there or something for decoration. Yeah, okay, let's get ourselves a door. Alright. Ah, I see, select tip. So journey, not the destination. I see. Makes sense. There. Ready? Certainly back to the conversation about open world games. I think one of the reasons why I've drifted towards more Souls-like games is because they follow more Metroidvania level design principles. And I feel like Metroidvania style areas are just so much more rich with meaningful things to do, or meaningful challenges to overcome, than a lot of open world games. And that's just because a Metroidvania is essentially combining a bunch of levels into a single, we'll say, bigger picture thing in a meaningful way. I feel like a good open world game would do something similar. Not necessarily like getting areas off with Metroidvania level design principles necessarily, but more so feeling like the large map you have is a series of levels interconnected between each other, rather than a massive space that just happens to have points of interest here and there. Cool, sounds like fun, Copper Nicholson. Where is it? Okay, I think that makes the space feel just a smidge more lived in, since we have that, and although I feel like I should, yeah. Let's... No, okay, it'll do. Yeah, that works better. I'd say easy to mod. That depends on how well you know Multimedia Fusion 2 or Clickteam Fusion 2.5. I'm not opposed to modding, like it's a single player game. I understand, you know, people want to make single player mods. That's all fine by me. I'm just saying that I don't know how easy it would be to implement. My guess is it would end up being more of a fan gamey kind of situation where I as a developer would be perfectly okay with that stuff as long as people are not making money off of it. As long as it's all just for fun and it's not monetized, I don't really have a problem with it. With fan games, but I just don't know how easy or hard it is to mod a game, an application made in Fusion 2.5. But if you're questioning like, will there be a Steam workshop or something like that? The short answer is I don't know. Again, I don't know how to. I have the first idea of how to support something like that. And it all ties back to the software I'm using. Okay, that works. No, maybe we could actually... No, it's a bit weird. I have some vents running down. There it is. There. That drain pipe over there. Well, no, Copper Nicholson, I said I don't know. And I'm not going to think about that right now because I'm way too early in the development process. There are better ways to do it. You want an example of how to do that in a better way, I'd say go look at A Hat in Time. Because A Hat in Time did end up monetizing some mods, but they did in an interesting way where creators can submit ideas to Hat in Time to essentially make their mods canon to the game. And then they'll get support to actually add it as DLC to the game, which I think is actually pretty cool. because it doesn't dissuade people from adding to the massive modding community that exists in a hat in time. But at the same time, it also allows, we'll say, creative types who want to go that extra mile to actually get like the blessing of the developers to say, yes, your stuff stands to the game now because which I think is pretty cool. I really don't think you understand, Copper Nicholson. And mod support is not an easy thing. And that would be with being able to work with some kind of API with Steam, but because I'm using Fusion 2.5, I might not be able to do that. That's why I'm very non-committal at this point, Copper Nicholson. So I can tell you really don't understand this, Copper Nicholson, and admittedly, I don't either. But I do know that the fact that a AAA title, like Treyarch would have to work very hard to say, hey, Black Ops 3, Call of Duty Black Ops 3 will have mod support on PC. That was like, that took a concerted effort on their part to make that doable. And that's like a massive budget studio. Out here. I'm realizing now I did that on the details there. No, I refuse. Yep. Yeah, that's the thing, Rakor. Yeah. Exactly. Well, again, that's the reason, like, Sundance, one of the major reasons because that Sundance will have larger mining communities than others is exactly the barrier of entry. So having the Steam Workshop and things like that lowers the barrier of entry, which can be great for getting a larger modding community. But exactly, what Repcor's saying is, even if it doesn't have native mod support, if people love it, there will be those creative types that will try to mod it anyway. And then it really becomes a question not so much of can modding occur for a game, more so of what's the developer response. And I prefer to take the approach of more like Ears for Breakfast, Radical Fish games, and like, where it's like, you know, it's a single player game, you want to mod it, go crazy, have fun, just don't try to monetize it, because then it's like you're trying to make money off my, you know, something off of my own IP, and I'm like, no. But if you just want to make a mod to have fun, share it with thousands of people, sure, go for it. Like, that's, you know, it's all part of the fun of the game. Yeah, that's so true, Drakor. But you have to realize that the barrier of entry is going to be high, because there's don't necessarily going to be it's like, at the moment, I don't see how there would be native mod support, but people find their ways anyway. I mean, Undertale doesn't have native mod support, but people make plenty of Undertale fan games and stuff like that. All right. And ladies and gentlemen, we have Kitchen. only took a bit longer because I had to draw some stuff, but I think that looks decent. At least it kind of ties this area together a bit more. Yes, snakes on a kitchen. I mean, it's almost kind of amusing in a way, just seeing like all these snakes in this kitchen. Snacks looking for yes, that should be a meme. Snacks looking for why are there so many snakes in this kitchen? Snacks in the pantry, snacks in the gray area, Copper Nicholson, gray area. I understand that, like, if people get to the point where it's like they're making like these really complex stuff and they're like, if you want to support me, please, but if not, that's definitely more of a, yeah, exactly. Many modders do that, and I can understand it. It's more so the situation where it's people that are like, hey, I made this mod for this game, you want to use it, you're going to pay such and such amount of money. At that point, it's like, okay, hold it. You're making a mod for a game that I made, or you're making a mod for a game that someone else made. That's a commercial product, and you're trying to say, hey, I'm taking that commercial product, and then I'm trying to commercialize it for myself. No, get out of here. But, it's like, if you want to do that, go make your own game. But, if, on the other hand, you have the developer's blessing, like we see with Gears for Breakfast and A Hat in Time, or it's more so a situation where, you know, paying into it's optional because it's not your game to begin with, then I'm more okay with that. Snacks. Alright, but, where to next? Here. So, I don't want to frame this. I think, well, and here is supposed to be, he lights some privies. That's just a fancy way of saying bathrooms. So we need to think of what those will look like. Now, granted, we will actually, I think we'll need the sinks here, or at least some modification of the sink, because it's definitely going to be necessary. And we can go from there. I also wonder, have like a combination of like sinks and lockers. Sinks, lockers, and bathroom stalls would probably make the most sense. Before we do that, at least get this spot mapped out. So, no. There we go. Behold, I have destroyed the wall. Level design broke it. No, I'm just kidding. The trademark's next to that. No. No. Somewhat unrelated, I think there's supposed to be a big snowstorm rolling in this weekend, at least around where I'm at, so I'll be curious to see how that goes. Okay. This is me being nitpicky, but I'm thinking that it's unlikely there would ever be a piece of wood that long. Unless you cut down an entire tree and saw it into a single plank, but even then that doesn't make a whole lot of sense. So, instead, I think doing something like that. And to make it feel just a bit more believable in its design. Anyway. Alright, this might seem like a bit of a weird question, chat. But, and I had to imagine like there's more than likely room for change or debate after this. But my question to you, chat, is after the Elden Ring challenge run, whatever that might be, I'd be curious as to what games you guys be interested in going to next. And the reason I asked is because Trails of Cold Steel is still on my mind, because gosh darn it, that cliffhanger at the end of Trails of Cold Steel 1. But at the same time, I also not sure like where the sentiment's going to be when the Elden Ring challenge run is done, because Saw Dream Collection, no. No, not Skyrim. Skyrim's been challenge run to into oblivion at this point. But yeah, I'll just be curious to see if like, you know, by the end of Elden Ring, people have either forgotten about Trails of Cold Steel 2 or the interest lies elsewhere. But I certainly, it's still on the back of my mind. It's like, okay, when can I get back into Untitled? Would also, yeah, that's true. There's Untitled. There's some of the Dark Souls. Well, it's just there's plenty of different games I could challenge on. That's not the thing. I'm just trying to think like, what should it be after Elden Ring? Like, my current lean is towards Trails of Cold Steel 2, but I feel like I would want to have some other options available just to vote for if it came to that. Unless by the end of Elden Ring, and like, please just get me back to Class 7, then I could make that judgment call. But we'll see as we go. In the meantime, well, the thing is, the challenge runs that could be done for Henry Stickmin have already been done. There's some pretty hilarious ones. Like, can you beat the Henry Stickmin collection without speaking? That was a pretty funny video to watch. I will say that. But I think Unsighted would certainly be up there in terms of possibility, simply because it fits all like the trademarks of the kinds of games I'd be interested in. You know, it's an action RPG. It's got those Metroidvania elements. It even seems to have, you know, has kind of like that 2D-ish, that 3D and pixel art platforming stuff going on, which I always think is pretty cool because crosscode. And you also have to remember that it has to be a PC game, so I don't have any other console. So if it's not on PC, can't do it. That's one of the reasons why Persona 5 isn't on my radar, simply because it's not on PC. So same thing goes with like Fire Emblem Three Houses. Great game, not on PC. By all means, Director, feel free to list them in the Discord server. I'd be certainly interested to hear some of them. I will also say there would be a strong desire to challenge run Shrine's Legacy whenever it comes out, because I know that I have been keeping tabs on so you guys remember Shrine's Legacy, that demo I played, the indie game demo I played, I think last year. It was a while ago. It was either early last year or late in 2020. Well, no, it wasn't in 2020. Was it in 2020? It might have been like 2020. Well, the point is, it's been a while. It's been a little while. The developers have been doing great with it, and I feel like a release could easily be coming within the next few years. And I definitely feel like that game would warrant a challenge run, though I imagine it would be it would most likely be a shorter game than, say, Crosscode or Trails of Cold Steel. But I definitely feel like that game deserves a challenge run when the time comes. And if the developers do end up adding like that no XP badge, like they said they might, then that'd be the obvious choice. But it would definitely be cool to support them because, as in they're doing good work, and I like their idea, and I want to see it succeed. Okay, so bathroom stuff. Let's start with the sinks. Here. Again, Copper Nicholson, it's not a PC game, so that wouldn't work. And as for Mortal Kombat 11, not really. Don't have much interest in games like that. I don't really play too many fighting games outside of Super Smash Brothers. Well, I'm also hesitant to play like the challenge run fan games simply because there's usually a much smaller audience for them. And Twitch also doesn't tend to have like specific categories for various fan games. Probably not Copper Nicholson. Not that I don't like the Pokemon games, it's just that they have also been challenge run into the ground. Like there are, and that's due mainly to Nuzlocke. So there are so many Pokemon Nuzlocks and other kinds of challenge runs spinning off from that it's hard to find. It's something you need to do in Pokemon on the challenge running front. And not to mention, most of the games are, again, non-PC. Part of me wonders how many of these should... Actually, they were trying to be real efficient with it. Only expand out like this. It'll be in a line. No, Topper Nicholson, no. You have to understand, I am not skilled enough to challenge run the American Dad opening theme. I know, right? Like, you would think, like, Antomicx, you never back down from a challenge you feel like you can complete, but you have to understand, the American Dad opening theme is not for the faint of heart. It's got such a massive skill ceiling, and there's just so much nuance to it. I mean, incredibly designed, but need to make sure it's actually feasible, you know? All right, there we have our little line of faucets. And just in a sink like this, you probably have multiple drains as well. Listen, Topper Nicholson. Your memes end here. That's where... And what I'm trying to think about is, I need something to be behind here to justify a platform. I also don't know what that would be. Usually on a sink. There could be some kind of soap dispenser. That might work. But then again, like, you're reaching behind it. Does that really make sense? Maybe like a pipe or something. Oh, actually, yeah, that could work. So we'd have like maybe some kind of panel. I said some kind of panel. I mean, Melody Rising Revengeance is on PC. The only question would be, what would the... I mean, couple things I think of. One, that would definitely be a shorter game. And two, what would the challenge run be? Because, like, the thing about Elder Rising Revengeance is there's only a handful of stuff you can do within that game. It's all very much heavily focused on sword combat. How? Topper Nicholson, there are bosses you have to defeat in that game. I know I had some pipes around here somewhere. Thank you. Up there. I try to imagine, like, you know, there is a catch-22 with trying to do a no swords run of Valdir Rising Revengeance, is that you have to use a sword and it's the final boss for one. And you also don't get the... I also don't think you get the option to even use something else until at a certain point in the game, so like you're kind of locked into using a sword. Or at least a good portion of the game. Probably not a multiplayer game, Copper Nicholson, simply because single player games, I can work on those on my own terms, and there's more opportunities, shall we say.
Very much alike.
Remember all the happy times we had.
Very much alike. All right. I'll tell you the truth.
There you go. Probably not Copper Nicholson, probably not. Actually. Yep. Over there. Well, is it a PC game, Calvin Nicholson? Well, you'd have to check that first, so that's always going to be the first thing. That's it, and then I'd have to look into it and see if it's something that might interest me. Because that's the kind of... That's the other thing. Even if the game is on PC, if I don't have an interest in it, then it doesn't matter, because I won't. That'll be something I want to play too. Oh, Return to January starts on January 16th. Okay, that makes sense. So that's why there's a massive amount of people in Dark Souls 2. That could work. Okay. It is Winter Copper Nicholson, so... All right. Here we have some pipes. We have sink. terms of like a stall, that should probably be made of wood. So I'll use that as a baseline here. Yeah, I heard Worlds was an interesting game as well, Chopper Nicholson. But it's more so like, I think Our Worlds falls into the games that are more like Fallout. Nothing against Fallout, I just find that it tends to be more in a similar kind of vein as Skyrim, where at a certain point the combat just gets pretty repetitive. Now, admittedly, I think Fallout has a bit more intricacy to it than Skyrim's combat does. But I just remember playing Fallout 4, like after your initial playthrough, it's kind of, like I said, pretty repetitive. Or it can get more repetitive. But Bioshock has that plenty of challenge from none of it before Copper Nicholson. I think Senzo was one of the ones who did quite a bit of Bioshock. If I'm remembering correctly. I think that'll work. In terms for the top design, we have like wooden slats or something. Like that, and then actually walk across, we need something. So Look if I did something like this. I'm also not the biggest fan of hard games in general, Gregor, so that would just be off the list for that reason in particular. Idea, but I don't think something else would make sense. There'd be some kind of wooden support brace that would work. Alright, that could work. Get rid of that. Let's see here. Okay, there we go. Kind of makes some modicum of sense. Probably not Copper Nicholson. I think it's more of a strategy game. I was trying to think, okay, so this is the closed stall here. Let's make sure we have an open one as well, just for the sake of variety. No Copper Nicholson. Probably be a bit more rugged. So let's get that. man. Oh well. Yeah. Probably not correct court. Community streams are always a possibility, but you want to make sure that there's stuff to do. Okay. Oh no. That reminds me, Copper Nicholson. Not sure if you've ever seen Jimmy Neutron, but there's an episode called Macbeth in Space, and that's like one of the most entertaining episodes of the show, because they try to put on a school play, but things go completely awry because of Jimmy's inventions. And they end up with laser sabers as well, so some pretty iconic scenes. Actually, that's supposed to be more medieval-ish. I think this would be... Quite look right. Among Us? Why Among Us? Just for the memes is what you're saying, Copper Nicholson? I see. Right, I see Rector. Okay. Makes sense. Something like that. Closer to the ground, because I have to remember that people are not massive in this game, so take this one out of the well. That looked like a lever. It looked like a lever. Let's see here. Will you knock it off, Copper Nicholson? You have to understand their personal boundaries, dude. Well, alright. I guess you... Let's see here. So we got that. What else do we need? I don't think they would have... Yeah, they wouldn't have that, though. Yes, I think I have them. I think that should work, because when we actually put it into the engine itself, it'll look more interesting. So let's save that. Oop. And I will remind you, Copper Nicholson, in that there's a certain that there are certain rules that need to be followed on stream. So changing topics. Let's see how this ends up looking. So with this here, Hey. All right, chat. What do you think of that? Decent start. So it's supposed to be sort of it's the start of a bathroom, Topper Nicholson. There. There. There's two bathrooms, Topper Nicholson. But that's not beside the point. The point is just to get the design right. I've tried to fit the aesthetic of this dungeon. Yes, Copper Nicholson. So, looking at the tile set, this is all part of the dungeon, so this is a place the player will be able to walk through. That's a start. Alright. Oh, cool, Drekor. So after the stream that you... Okay, sounds good. Well, I made a second Drekor. I'm going to start implementing some things. Where to do that. That should be enough to go off of, I hope. Copper Nicholson, Dorothy is canonically 24 years old, so I think that'd be pretty normal for someone that age. No, actually, that does bring up a topic, a conversation. So, a lot of video games, as is not just video games, and media in general, for whatever reason, I think bathrooms are not like commonplace things to put in like rooms or houses or things like that. And that can seem a little weird when like you're playing one of the Pokemon games, for example, and you enter a house and there's like a kitchen and a bedroom, but there's no bathroom. You're like, do people actually live here? Like, you kind of ask the question. Like, that's always been something that kind of confuses me in terms of like setting design for games. It doesn't always make sense. It doesn't always feel lived in. Yeah, that's one of the things I'm trying to do here, is to make the space definitely feel a bit more lived in. Hence all this detail. Alrighty. Alright, Gregor. Well, if you want to provide some feedback, I'm more than happy to take some at the moment. So, in terms of the aesthetics, for these, here's the thing of what you think of the aesthetics of at least the how these are coming along so far. I think it's starting to shape up. And that is not something I can really disclose. I'll say this: don't think so much the time period as much as just general aesthetic here.
Very much alike.
And there's reasons behind this stuff. It's just don't want to give too many things away.
Remember all the happy times we had.
Oh, cool. Nice record. And I promise there's reasoning behind this that's not just arbitrary, but I can't get into why. But as long as the aesthetic looks cool, then that works for me, because it means I'm able to work towards my vision, so to speak. Nice record. Alrighty. Alright, sounds good, Rockport. Thanks. Thanks for the feedback. Got that. I'll also need these just rotated. Sure. Alright, welcome back, Albert Nicholson. I guess however many there need to be for these areas. In terms of interacting with them, I'd say probably not unless I decide to write a lore bit for part of this. But besides that, probably not. Alrighty. What time period does Hartwell take place in? I'm not at liberty to say that. Because that's part of the... That is definitely part of the story. Do they have running water? I mean, you can see the pipes, Copper Nicholson. But it depends on your definition of running water. But again, I can't really get into that because it's... Again, part of the game. Currently cards full set tile set you're preparing for an alien force. Cool. Wondering if it's actually good or I only find it good as I want. Okay. Well, you know, feel free to ask for feedback in the Discord server, Grector. It's its own unique thing, Copper Nicholson, so it doesn't follow the history of the world. It takes place in a fictional world, so in terms of I was saying, Grector, like, you know, feel free to post in the Discord for some feedback on those tile sets if that's piques your fancy. That's all I was saying, Grector. That. Now we have this to work with. Oh, almost forgot. We need something like this, but just a little bit shorter. Perfect. Alrighty. Just like that. Oh, okay, fair enough, report. Think. Bada bum. Now this bathroom will start to look more, well, like a bathroom. So boop, 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 boop. I need to center that now I'm realizing. Alright. An easy fix. What's centering this look like? Something like that. All right. Sounds good, record. So, boop, boop, boop. Boop. Finishing touches by just getting the outside all good to go. Alrighty. That sounds cool, Record. Be curious to see how it turns out. Try to make anything aliens always by alien I mean like sci-fi, like fantastical, like far reaches of space kind of thing. It's always an interesting process because you're trying to come up with something that seems too out there to exist on our world, but at the same time doesn't seem so out there that it seems completely unbelievable. So there's a balance to be had there for sure. rectify that right now. Alright. So, chat, for anyone who's still here, I would like one last bit of feedback here. So, for these bathrooms, let's just think about the floor. I guess, cavernous or tiled. Because, I mean, personally, I feel like I'm leaning more towards cavernous, but just be curious. Well, no, there's both here. I've just left as cavernous, right as tileset, so you can see both. No, just cavernous like a cavern, a cave, Copper Nicholson. Underground. Okay. Well, we already used tile quite a bit before. So I might... But then one of the advantages of tile is it's much easier to do to use the drains. So like this. Okay, that's actually an interesting thought, Gretgor, varying between the two. So you mean like have one all cavern, the other all tile, or are you saying one should be... Maybe have tile for the most part, but cavern in certain spots? Like, for example, I can conceivably see this making some degree of sense. Something like that. I kind of like that. I kind of like that sort of hybrid mix there because it shows that not ever really abandoned much. Yeah. Alright, so we'll do a hybrid. Well, I'm not sure if abandoned is... Well, I won't say anything more, but this is... I do like kind of the mix between these two, so... Cool. It also kind of reinforces the walkable. Yep. I see what you mean. I also like, Probably have. Just, you know, it's important to have some drains in there, but yeah, I think that'll do quite nicely. Well, chat, I know we spent a lot of time making some tile sets this stream, so, but I think these look good. I think that it really adds to the aesthetic, and also, what's cool now is you can kind of see how this side of the dungeon's starting to come together. So if I just kind of zoom in, player comes down here, is doing stuff, more things, come here like, ooh, what's this place? Some kind of pantry, then there's a kitchen, some kind of mess hall, now there's bathrooms, and some kind of area to sleep in. So all in all, I mean, the mini map, you know, you look at this, it's now it's starting to look like an actual place as opposed to this. So past 2 death streams have been just trying to bring this dungeon to life. I think it's pretty cool, honestly. What do you all think? There's definitely more to be added, but we can cross privies off the list. We kinda did sewers. Haven't really done an infirmary. Or that stuff is pretty good. Yeah. I think that'll be a good spot to begin wrapping things up. Because again, it might seem like this is slow going, but remember, we're doing this all from scratch. So in the future, we have more stuff to work with, so that will make it easier to make new tile sets and so on and so forth. Especially when things have little details like this. This takes obviously a bit longer, but I think this will be a good start wrapping things up. If you're watching this on Twitch, feel free to stick around for a raid, but if you're watching this on YouTube and you like what you saw, please consider subscribing on YouTube. It's free to subscribe on YouTube. You can always change your mind later, and it's a great way to show support. So if you're watching on YouTube, I hope you have an awesome night.